All right, I think we are live. Welcome to Late Night Gun Chat, everybody. Last and Ballistics here. Got the last shirts going on tonight. All right, I think this is Pew Pew Tactical Coleon Noir shirt. There we go. Let's start by shouting out our chat as usual. We got Dan O'Neill, MG Monkey, Montana Musings says, "What gun were you shooting that knocked the snot out of you?" The worst gun that ever knocked the snot out of me was the Remington Titanium 700 when they came out with that Remington Titanium back in the early 2000s or late 1990s. It was a 270, and the guy had a really low eye relief scope on it, and it just like nailed me right there and kicked really hard. He had hand load 160s that were like crazy hot too. So, all right, so there we go. It's not okay. So sorry, I can't actually find out what you're talking about there, Dan O'Neill. What's up? How you doing? It's not late or what? Greetings in advance. What's up, MG Monkey? Big E is here. Jason is here. Says hello, Chuck, not Chook. Thank you for making that important distinction. Good. Yo, what's up, FNH? Hello, Chuck from South Carolina. All right. Yes, thank you for spoiling it since you've seen it on Patreon already, and it just crushes your SSTs. I think it was a 300 Win Mag 130 grain TTSX with a max load. Man, that load did not kick at all. That did not kick at all. I mean, I had put the muzzle brake on the gun, so that helps. But 26-inch barrel, 8.5 pound rifle, 130 grain bullet out of a 300 Win Mag did not hurt at all. So that's that. All right. Yeah, with a max load of reloader 26 would be incredible. I'm pretty sure I used. I'm going to look at the chart here. I used. Let's see. I used 4350, and I don't think it was the fastest powder. It was the fastest powder I could find or have at the time. No, actually, it wasn't. H4350 is listed at 3,520, and I could have used hybrid V100 to get a little bit more. I could have pushed more. They don't actually list reloader 26. They list reloader 17 as getting 3601 out of a 24-inch barrel. Excuse me here. I'm going to wipe my camera off. There we go. 24-inch barrel. So it looks like if I had some reloader 17, I could possibly push it to almost 3,700 out of that barrel, which would be an incredible round. It'd be a great round. It's going to be a great round, like an SHTF round. If you loaded up about 700-800 of those, you'd have a round that could penetrate most level 3+ body armor, and you'd have a most rifle body armor it'll penetrate except for level 4, and then it'll do great hunting as well, and it's super flat because it's going so fast. So hopefully y'all see that tomorrow. That's that. Good evening from Northern Idaho. Evening, everyone. Hope all is well. Really good videos. I'm liking. How's the 2250? Looking forward to seeing some armor testing. I'm getting it to slightly feed. It's going to be a while. We lost our place to shoot, so there's that. We lost our place to shoot, and so 2250 is going to be a while. Did you see Chook's shorts video? Short videos lately. Yeah, I gave him permission to use all that stuff. I gotta edit some stuff from some old videos of his and upload it as a short. I got him putting a 10mm mag in a 9mm gun. So yeah, it's not like when we make fun of each other. It's not like we don't tell anybody. So. You startled me when you came on. I knocked over an uncrimped buckshot load, LOL. Oh, have fun with that, man. Sorry, I mean, I know I'm scary, but that's that. Let's see. What else did I miss here? Good evening, Hunter Kirk. It's good to see you. And evening, Grizzly Crazy, also from Iowa. Idaho. Excuse me. Hit 3350 with controlled chaos, 146 grain, light bolt lift. 3550, 146 grain. Yeah, that should be doable. A 26-inch barrel. Are we talking 300 Win Mag, Big E? Yeah, I mean, with the right powder and a 26-inch barrel, that should be pretty achievable. It'd be tough, but it should be pretty achievable. What powder were you using, and how far over max were you? That's the question there. All right, would they uh would they still work in my gun? A lot of questions there. So, all right. Evening from Moscow, Idaho. So if you hadn't seen one of these late night gun chats, you ask me your questions, and I give you my answers, and they're worth exactly what you pay for them. Unless, of course, you pay a super chat, then they're worth way less than what you paid for them. So that's that. Oh, you have a 28-inch barrel, 82 grains of freeloader 26. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it. So yeah, you should be able to, in a 28-inch barrel, you might hit 38 in a 130 grain, and you got a serious contender to go through some cheaper level 4 body armor stuff. Yeah, like seriously contender. So there's that. No, it was your voice next to me made me jump. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's that. So guys, if you haven't joined my MeWe page, that is where all of my affiliate links are. I'm also placing them on a new place called Arms Directory, but I got a MeWe group. So as soon as it pulls up here, and let's see, there it is. But if you haven't joined my MeWe page, most of you in the chat probably have. That's where I post all my links that can help the channel. You know, people, you buy $100 worth of stuff, I'm lucky to get $5. So need 100 of you buying $100 worth of stuff. So that's that. So anyway, that's cool. Loki Prepper, I like the name there. Evening, just picked up some 150 grain 9mm coated hard cast rounds. What would you think of those for use of big black bear protection, assuming they're under 350 pounds? I mean, if you hit it in the right place, it's all about hitting in the right place, guys. So we have the illustrious Bullets for Bucks here, Mr. Go-Getter Hunter himself. How's your elk season, buddy? Did you get anything? So that's that. Let's see. Yeah, but yeah, hardy 150 grain 9mm coated hard cast, you should be fine. Like if you hit a grizzly bear at the right spot, I mean, it's going to do the job. Granted, that would not be my first choice, but you got 17 other rounds to get it done. So there you go. What's up, 67 Rebel SST AMC? So hey, yeah, Big E, there you go. Yeah, so we lost our shooting area. Got put a no trespassing sign on it. We thought it was public land. So that's that. So it's going to be a while before we actually do some shooting videos. I mean, I have some that are there to edit, but it's going to be a little while. So if you figure out a place for us to shoot, that'd be great. Just is what it is. So anyway, G23 is here. How you doing? So Alaska One Andy is here. So I'm going on the second reloads for your brass soon. So thanks for sending me that brass. I appreciate it. And that sucks. No shooting. Yeah, it really does suck. I might got a place that some guy told me about, and it's really closer to town too, which kind of surprises me. So I'm gonna go check that out Saturday. Maybe shoot a few rounds. Maybe do some reliability testing with the 458 SOCOM. I'm still working out the kinks with that. It's mostly an ammo issue. Like it's underwood ammo, not feeding. And it won't go into the chamber. Like the ammo just slams and won't go into the chamber. and pretty interesting. Like the with the ammo just slamming like that. Yeah. Alaska on Andy, I shouldn't need any more because later I was able to buy 2 boxes of Norma brass or Nosler brass, and then I was able to buy a bunch of boxes of ammo on the shelf that I can shoot up. So I've got at least 6 boxes of ammo of 2 different types that I'm just 7 boxes that I'm just going to shoot up and use the brass, So yeah, I lost my shoot. Yeah, and we cleaned up every time we were at the range too. So that was not an issue. I mean, yeah, you sometimes will see the garbage in my background, but like, tomorrow's video, you'll see the garbage bags that we're putting everything into in the background. So it is what it is. So it's a good run while we had it. So I definitely think it would have been better had we not had it closed. That would have been a great place to go. That was a great place to go. So we'll find another spot somehow. So I'll go into the chamber straight or won't seat and allow the bolt to close. It won't seat and allow the bolt to close. It's straight and the bolts go in there. And so usually that's a shape of the case thing. Like it'll be one round out of every box. You never know what round it's going to be. And it's not the gun's fault. Like I cleaned the gun's chamber looks correct. So do you have ranges in any of the state parks there? Nope. Weekdays they are empty. Yeah. But I work. Like that this doesn't do me any good. The answer is no and no. So we do have a public range that I have filmed some things on here once in a while, but yeah, they're not. No, go with some guys, some piece of dirt, and start a private gun club. That takes money. Make money and can shoot whenever, winner. Chicken dinner. Yeah, that takes money, and yeah, yep. I cleaned up, but it's the others that don't hurt the ones that do. Exactly. Man, we get this question every week. Thoughts on the 35 Wayland? You can't find guns or ammo for it, so what's the point? Um, I mean, it's a great cartridge. You're gonna go have a custom gun made. When I was in Mississippi, because of its design of its cartridge, a lot of people liked it and got it in a single shot, so they could shoot far distances during muzzleloader season because you could take anything made in primitive weapon seasons. You could take anything made before 1900. So, any gun clubs around you? Yeah, there's a gun club around me, but I mean, you can't film at a gun club when there's all sorts of range noise going on. I mean, you want to hear in the background, pow, 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 pow. No. Like, specific, if you go to my early, yeah, they're around, but it is what it is. Like, you can't, like, I had a spot in the wilderness that was public land that wasn't marked, and is what it is. So now I'll have to go to another spot in the wilderness that's public land that isn't marked. So is what it is. Yeah, the CVA Scout, they make it in a 35 Wayland. Yeah, and then 9.3 by 62 again. You can't find guns or ammo for it. So, yep. Don't forget to hit the likes, guys. Yeah, that was made a long time ago. They don't make it anymore. So, yep. It was a 3600, I think, actually 36, 35, 3600. So, yeah. But yeah, so that's our big deal right now. We'll find it. We'll get it going again. If I have to, I can go up to Sutton on days off, is what it is. I can go back where I used to film videos. But even that place is crowded. But it is what it is. Anyway, so we'll be working on some stuff. But yeah, like I got a guy who told me about a place, and I'm gonna go try it out. We'll see. Um, so know your daylight is different, but parks are open sun up to sundown here. Sucks you're having so much trouble, and you're one of the most spacious areas in the world. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, I can go up the hill from my house and shoot. Like that's not a problem. I've done it for a couple videos. I don't have a 4-wheeler and snow machine to get all the water bottles and the table and all the stuff up there, you know. So, like, the so that's the issue right now. So, 35 wheeling is cool uh, if you reload. Yeah, if they make an AI yeah, an actually improved version of that would be great. Yeah, yeah, you can't really film here in the winter time unless it's from like noon to 3, noon to 2. Really, you have about 2 hours to get really good lighting for filming. Uh, yeah, come on in, brother. Yep. So my granddad had a 35 Winchester. I think that's right. He said it was one of the hardest hitting rounds he ever shot personally. He gave the gun to my dad a few years ago. Had a few boxes of ammo. Yeah, there you go. Found some 250 grain TTSX, 250 grain Acubons, and 286 grain Swift A frames for 9.3 millimeter. I guess if you reload 35 Whalen or 9.3, it's worth it. But you're right about finding factory not being non-exempt. Finding the brass, it's even hard right now. I have heard more reports of humans, bears, one guy missing. I think in Wyoming, 80 years old. Yeah, it's been happening. It's happening more in the lower 48 this year than it has here. So, all right, we have the gun dungeon coming with us. What's up, man?
What's going on, buddy?
Not a whole lot.
Been a good minute since I've been on there. It's been a year or two, year and a half probably since I was on there.
Something like that.
Been a good minute.
Yep. What's been going on with you?
Not a whole lot this way. I started working with a new company, so I'm having to do all my filming in like bulk sessions where I'm having to do like 5-6 videos at once. So I've been doing a lot of 30 super carry stuff here lately. You've been messing with that much, any?
I have not gotten one. It's kind of one of those guns that's like on the periphery. I'd rather spend my money on other things. But I after watching Military Arms Channel's ballistics gel test, I was impressed. Like, I think it's actually better than people give it credit for. Like,
yeah, well, his video came out, and I'm sitting on 4 gel test videos right now, but I'm releasing one at a time because, like I said, I'm out of town working, and I'm setting gel test videos. The only thing that I've seen so far that hasn't been up to par is all the bullets I've tested are struggling with the denim for some reason. And that's not a caliber specific thing. That's a bullet manufacturer thing.
Right. Yeah. Have you tested the HSTs?
I've tested, that was actually the first one that I tested, and it struggled with the denim a little bit. Had about 50% expansion with the denim, with no denim, 100% expansion. So far, I've tested the HST, the Remington HTP, and the Spear Gold Dot. And so far, the Gold Dot's done best with denim out of all 3 of them.
Cool. With denim, are you still getting that 15 to 18 inches of penetration, or?
Yeah, surprisingly, it's not affecting the penetration a whole lot when they didn't expand.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, that makes sense.
They're not expanding a massive amount anyways, so.
You're right. Right. Yeah, I've been thinking about one of those, and the problem is you know, I can order like a Shield EZ or a Shield Plus or something online from Brownells or something, and they don't have it in 30 super carry. I can go to my local store and get it, but they're like $150 more than Brownells or something right now. It's crazy. So it's
I actually got mine off of Midway, I think.
Really? Okay. I have not bought a gun off of Midway. I'll have to look into them. I just haven't done it. So
I bought 2, and both of them have been in the last 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, have you done any chronograph work with it? Is it actually getting the velocity they say it is?
it's not hitting the advertised velocities out of the Shield Plus anyways.
Right. Yeah.
They're probably using velocities out of a test barrel, and I would say I only know of 3 guns chambered in it. That's the Easy, the Shield Plus, and then the Nighthawk.
It's got to be the Nighthawk they're testing, you know.
That would be the only one that would come close to the velocities.
Yeah, the Easy has a little bit longer barrel than the Shield Plus, right?
I would say so, probably. I mean, the Plus is pretty short barrel,
right?
And the velocities aren't off like dramatically, but you know, that small of a cartridge, I would say it's 5-inch velocities. It's advertised.
Yeah, you know that's to be expected then. So, with the shorter barrels, so yeah.
I mean, it is as far as the wound tracks and stuff and the penetration, like it is a little powerhouse. Like I'm tickled to death with it, and surprisingly, I've had the Shield Plus in 9mm and in 30 Super Carry, and for some reason, I can shoot the 30 Super Carry, not Shield Plus, better than I can the 9. Have no idea why. It just handles well.
Recoil's better.
The recoil isn't super dramatic as far as being able to tell them back and forth. I got a video coming out here shortly where I've done the Dickens drill. Mm-hmm. And I've done 4 different handguns, and the 30 Super Carry was one of them. And in it, I talk about not being able to differentiate a whole lot between the 9 and 30 Super Carry. Right. But that little bit of less muzzle flip made me want to shoot faster.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's noticeable, but not a whole lot. Not like going to a 40. There's a bigger difference between 9 and 40 than there is 30 Super Carry and 9.
Right. And see, I actually carry a Shield 40, so like I got a Gen 1 Shield 40 that I carry a lot. So
I'm a 40 fan. I like all things 40, especially 10mm.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, we got some people joining in now. What's up? How you doing, Steven?
Pretty good. Hold on a second.
All right.
So I got a new gun that I just picked up Friday, I think it was, that I've not done anything with yet. So my next trip back home, I'm going to start doing some testing and stuff. Maybe you can tell me a little bit what to expect. I got the Palmetto State Armory Rock 5.7.
Yeah.
Have you done much with the 5.7?
I've done one chronograph video with the Ruger, and then I've done let's see, I've done like a short with the Kelty P50 that I got to shoot while I was at Iraq Veteran 88, and
like ballistics testing.
Yeah, not any like ballistics gel or like redneck science stuff that I normally do. No meat test. Chook's done a couple on his just with water jugs. I'm not really impressed with the caliber as far as like a self-defense or a hunting caliber out of a handgun. I mean the 5.7 was designed for shorter weapons that could penetrate level 3 armor, pistol armor. And can be given to like guards and truck drivers and stuff for handling. I mean, it was designed for the P90, and when you really, the P90 had a 9 or 10-inch barrel or something like that.
Yeah,
and you really, and of course the PS90, the civilian version, has a 16-inch barrel by, the unconstitutional laws that we have. When you cut it down, you just lose so much velocity. I think it's like something like 500 feet per second is lost between the 5.7 pistol and like the P90 specifically. So to me, it's like taking a 22 mag and putting it in a revolver. Over a 22 long rifle, you gain 14 foot-pounds of energy most of the time. If you ever read the Ballistics by the Inch website, a 4-inch 22 and a 4-inch 22 Magnum, you lose so much. And so when you're talking about something that's the same power as a 22 Magnum, all right, now its main advantage over 22 Magnum, for example, is its center fire. And so the primer is going to burn more of the powder in the casing, and the primer is going to be way more consistent, I think the best thing that happened to 5.7 was the Rock and the Ruger to come out with the two different guns, because the FN 5.7 is an awful gun and it's expensive. The safety's in a terrible place. It's so lightweight polymer, it feels like plastic. And then it jams a lot. Paul Harrell has a video of it jamming. Whereas the Ruger is nowhere near as bad and stuff like that. So,
well, not to mention giving an affordable option on the market for more people to get the guns in their hands, create more demand for the ammunition, so maybe drive the price of the ammunition down some. And I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not opposed to a 22 Magnum handgun with the capacity that the 5.7 offers. I think the capacity is a huge advantage too.
So
the one that I bought a kit off PSA, and it came with like 10 magazines. They're all 23 round magazines.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's not anything to sneeze at.
No. What I like about the 5.7 though is for people who can't handle recoil. If they flinch so bad, just even shooting a 9mm. So that's that. Steven, what's up? Sorry, we've been going on.
Oh no, you're good. I've never had this happen, but my headphones were playing a song like simultaneously in the background of hearing you guys, and it wouldn't stop. And I still don't know like what it was.
Was it at least a good song?
Not really. It was the weirdest thing ever.
It has to be better than listening to us talk. I mean, come on, man.
It was so weird. It was like just playing, and then also I could hear you guys, and I don't know, like I don't know what happened. It just went away. I don't know. It's like there was interference with the Bluetooth or something, because these are Bluetooth. It was really strange. But anyway, I hiked almost 6 miles tonight across the mountainside trying to get a mule deer, and that was didn't pan out. A coyote. This has never happened before. At 5 o'clock, I finally, after like 15, 20 days of trying to get a mule deer, got on 3 bucks and easily would have been able to shoot one. And I was getting set up, and a coyote literally chased them out of the country, which I've never actually seen that happen. You hear about it, but it was bizarre. So,
did you at least come with a good coyote fur on your wall now?
No, because I didn't get a good shot at him either, and then I didn't want to shoot the coyote because it was like 5, so I still had an hour and a half of hunting left. So I was like, man, I don't want to blow that, because I mean I've been trying really hard to get a mule deer. So I helped a friend get one, a small buck earlier this year, and I guess I should be happy with that. But I'm starting to get the itch myself.
Coyotes have really had a huge impact on whitetail deer hunting in East Kentucky here lately too. I've noticed the last couple of years. I don't think I've went hunting in the evening the last 2 years and haven't at least heard coyotes.
When I left Georgia, it was that way, and they got plenty. There are plenty here. In fact, the die off for the Unit 13. When you came up, Steven, I told you let's apply for the Unit 13 out of state hunt. The die off this past year winter. That herd went from 43,000 animals to 17,000 animals. Part of it's coyote related. I'm not applying for the Unit 13 hunt again for a while. So
mule deer has been on a general decline in Wyoming, at least for the last, I think it's about 10 years. It's been like on a steady decline. Now there's isolated, like there's certain herds that aren't. But in general, it's been on a decline. And like, if you look at statistics across most of the state, they're down by like 40% as of like 5-6 years ago, success wise. And I'm definitely feeling it. Like I haven't really tried for a mule deer until last year and this year and then like 6 years before that I had tried. But I went like 5 years where I just shot whitetail and elk and other stuff. And I was like, well, I'll try last year, and I didn't get one. And then this year I'm like, well, I'll try this year. And it definitely seemed easier 6 or 7 years ago when I was far less experienced, put far less time in it, and was able to harvest deer apparently easier.
What's a contributing factor to that?
Well, I think whitetail is competing for a lot of the same habitat. Yeah. Whitetail in Wyoming is just exploding, and it's out of control. Along with that, CWD, for whatever reason, and this is more based on, I guess, hearsay and my experience, affects mule deer more. Maybe it's just there's less numbers to begin with. But like I drew what was one of the best units in the state, I thought, last year, and I'd been putting in for it for like 6 years on a draw, and I drew it, and I had one shooter buck in 2 weeks of hunting, which was just nuts. When I drew it years ago twice, and when you used to draw it, you'd have like one opportunity on a decent buck per day, practically. That's how good of a unit it was. And I saw 2 mule deer bucks like the entire 2 weeks. Everything was either whitetail or just no deer. And CWD, I found out after I drew it that CWD had basically destroyed that entire deer herd, like the entire mule deer herd. And the whitetails had kind of filled in that gap a little bit behind them, I guess, which is kind of almost a worse thing maybe, because then they, they're taking up the habitat and eating the feed and things. I think there's like CWD, the whitetails, and then mule deer just don't do well around, like, this is really layman's terms, but they don't do well around people, around like when people come in, whitetails adapt. It seems like we have more whitetails now than we had in like the turn of the century, in the 1900s. Like, it's crazy. If you look at statistics, we have more whitetails than we had in like the 1500s, supposedly. It's nuts. But whitetail are like super adaptable, right? Whereas mule deer, like, they just don't reproduce like as much. And then when they're pressured or like stressed, it doesn't appear that they reproduce the same either. So like you have human development, CWD, and then I think whitetails are kind of encroaching on them as well. So those 3 factors, that's like kind of just my uneducated guess for the most part. But
my teaching partner is from Western Oregon, and he said that whitetails are encroaching on mule deer. Same thing's happening. Mule deer, not as much CWD, but there's a lot of whitetail encroachment. And I'll come take care of all the whitetails you want me to. So I'm just saying,
I'm probably going to end up
There's plenty of them in East Kentucky. Come kill all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that we struggle with, and it's probably nationwide too. Is just a lack of hunters, so there's no management of anything. That's the coyotes are getting outrageous where we're at. The turkey are insane. There's and the turkey population blowing up is what's feeding the coyote population. So I mean, it's just everything's just not managed, because you don't.
Yeah.
I don't think our generation hunts the way the generations before us did, and don't carry on the same type of wildlife management values.
Yeah, and I think we've had 2 grizzly bear attacks in Wyoming, I think, in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The wrestlers wrestlers got attacked here in Wyoming, and then his buddy basically saved him and then got attacked as well. I mean, they all survived. And then another grizzly bear attack just happened after that. I know less about that one, but it's like, or that guy shot himself while trying to shoot the grizzly bear, or like he was successful in scaring away the grizzly bear, but then he actually shot himself in the leg, is the other story that happened even more recently. But I mean, we have a problem. I don't think the grizzlies are the problem with the mule deer so much, maybe more with elk and moose. But I think that
grizzlies will kill a deer if they get
they will. I just don't think it's as big a factor when it just comes to the mule deer in Wyoming situation. Maybe at least not in the areas I'm hunting.
Blowing up with the best bear defense gun post.
Yeah.
I tell you what, like I don't know how many attacks we've had in Alaska, but it seems like you've had more attacks down there than we have. We've had one big one that hit the news, and it was literally you drove through it, Stephen. The Hayflats area right next to my house. Like some guy and his son were out duck hunting or hunting or something like that. Grizzly bear attacked the son. Dad had to shoot it and kill it and get it off the son and take the son to the emergency room. He was in critical condition for a while. That scares the crap out of me, because I can, you've seen my house. I can run into a grizzly walking down the street. It's rare. I haven't seen. There's been black bear in the neighborhood, and there's been moose in the neighborhood, but I haven't seen a grizzly. But just up the hillside from me, they have trail cams, and there's grizzlies everywhere up there. And I'm talking like 150 yards up the hillside. So, you know, grizzlies.
That's completely out of my wheelhouse. We're just now starting to get black bear back in East Kentucky, and I saw one like 2 years ago. I was bow hunting and had one walk up, a mama and a couple cubs. I was bow hunting with my concealed carry 9mm on my side, and I thought, this is a horrible idea. I'll carry a 10mm in the woods from now on.
You know, people say that, but it's like, you know, Eastern black bear, okay. You know, if you get one of the Pennsylvania strains or whatever, like, yeah, they can get 650, 700 pounds. It's a record. But, you know, most Eastern black bear are going to be less than 250 pounds. You know, you get a hard cast 9mm and you shoot it better. You know, if you're more accurate with it, because the power, like I talk about this all the time on the chats and in the comments. Power is not the factor that kills. You'll never outpower the physics equation on a bear. All right, what kills is shot placement and bullet construction, putting the right, well-constructed bullet in the right spot. So, I mean, like, people make fun of me all the time, but it's like, what should my wife carry? She can't handle a 10mm. Should she carry like a 44 special or something? And I'm like, well, she could, but if she can't handle a 9mm, she's not going to handle a 44 special in a revolver that's harder to pull the trigger. You know, so load up.
It was more shock factor for me never seeing one my entire life, being like, I'm going to carry a 10mm now. Give me a reason to carry my 10mm.
Yeah, I mean, you're wrong. I love 10mm, but like, you know, there's so many people that are like, oh, I need to get a 10mm or I need to get a 44 Magnum. I'm like, can you shoot your 9mm really, really well? Yes. Okay, then put in 147 grain hard cast and keep doing what you're doing. You know,
I'm all for if they say they need it, they need it. I'm not going to argue with them. I justify purchases like that all the time.
That's true. Yeah. Speaking of PSA though, I just ordered. I got a dagger frame, and yesterday they had a deal on the dagger slide, so I'm going to actually have a dagger put together, and I've already got a bunch of Glock 19 mags. So
nice. I saw some good stuff on the daggers.
Yeah,
I got a friend that runs a YouTube channel close to the house there where I'm at, Kentucky Range Time, and he's put out a couple videos on his dagger, and he done some trigger work to it, and he brought it to the house, and it had a better trigger than a stock Glock, with him just doing a little bench polishing and stoning work. It felt good and shot good. I mean, for the price point, that's hard to beat.
Yeah.
I was going to mention too. We was talking about that 30 super carry earlier too. I do those ballistics chicken videos where I compare two different rounds into ballistic gel-filled chickens. I actually did that with the 9 and the 30 super carry, and I think you'd be surprised at the results in actual meat and flesh and bone and all that. If I put them side by side, you wouldn't be able to tell which one was which.
Yep, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. Like I have no issues with the 30 super carry. Like now, I mean, I just hope it stays popular enough that people that bought guns and can get the ammo. I think it was a bad marketing ploy to come out with a new caliber during an ammo crisis.
I think it was actually in production before the COVID hit, and then it was just one of those things of, well, shit, now we're invested. So I talked to Federal at SHOT Show this year about it, and that's kind of the way they explained it was, it was scheduled to come out, then the pandemic hit, and it was just unfortunate timing. But I did see that Hornady's coming out with a critical defense version. So with that flex tip in the critical defense, I think that would probably alleviate some of the denim problems I've been having with it. So,
but it generally opens up really fast too, and it ends up not penetrating. Critical defense, critical duty.
Yeah, a little bit different. Honestly, all of the bullets that I've tested in 30 super carry, like the HST 30 super carry, hasn't performed the same as the 9 and 40 and 45 HSTs. The gold dot 30 super carries hasn't performed the same way as the 9, 40, and 45 gold dots. It's like they're trying to. Which, I mean, let's be real, none of these manufacturers have made a bullet in that diameter and for any length of time at all. So they're all probably still on a learning curve, if I was guessing.
I would agree. So you're saying it doesn't perform in denim as well?
Yeah, none of the bullets that I've tested have done 100% in denim.
do the 9mm and the 45 do it well in denim?
Most of all the HSTs I've tested have, and 95% of the gold dots have.
Agreed. I did a 40 Smith & Wesson video of gold dot versus HST, and both of them did very well in denim. I'm thinking about dinner. In denim, and in fact, the HST penetrated out the back of the block, which was nice. I like to see that kind of penetration. A 180 grain HST versus a 180 grain gold dot. So that's that. Martin Horse has a question for us. Speaking of handgun calibers, have anybody had any experience with the 7.5 FK Bruno? I have not.
Nope.
No, I don't have enough money to mess with that much.
Yeah, they don't send it to us, and even if they sent me one, like where am I going to find ammo for it? They can't ship ammo up here. So Nosler 135 grain jacket point. If you're talking about 10mm, if you're talking about 10mm Big E, I can tell you right now the 135 grain is just going to break apart, man. It's just going so fast, 1800 feet per second in a 6-inch barrel. Excuse me.
Yeah, I actually loaded up some 155 or 165 grain. Is the Sierra SIG V-Crown bullets and 10mm loads. And man, they flatten like pancakes. I think I was getting like 7.5 inches of penetration in bear chest.
Oh yeah. The 180 grain isn't terrible, but the one anything less than that would be absolutely terrible. I've seen that before too. Is what it is. So changing out headphones there. He's got another song.
I think he's clicking on iTunes.
All right. You good, Steven? Cool. Let's see. 610 Smith & Wesson. That's a good one. Let's see. I don't own the 10mm, but still like an end frame.
To me, I think the 10mm, I think its advantage is the capacity.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's a 357 Magnum with max loads, and 16 shots. I mean, yeah, it really is. Like, in fact, a lot of the commercial rounds, the 10mm is more powerful than the 357 Magnum. Not in the best hand-loaded rounds, but is what it is. So, just going down through here. Yeah. Okay. I guess he's talking about that makes sense. I guess he's talking about the 5.7 by 28mm. Booney Ballistics, good to see you. I'm tempted to get 10mm my next caliber. Go ahead, man.
It's a reloader's dream.
It really is. I have whitetail on my lawn every night. Hunter Kirk, let me come take care of him.
My daughter shot one out of the lawn during youth season in Kentucky. So
I spent, I don't even know, is it 15, 20 days trying to get a mule deer buck? I don't even know at this point how many thousands of dollars and all this pain and suffering. And I had a mule deer buck like sleeping underneath my tree every day. That was nicer than most ones I ever saw out in the field, but I can't shoot it legally where I'm at. So, and then we got a dog recently and the dog runs it off anyway. So, but it's just, the irony is sometimes annoying.
Yeah.
One time I went.
Freezer don't know where they come from.
I'm muted again.
We can hear you. Would Full Metal Jacket work for bear defense if there isn't hard cast or penetrators? Yes and no. Depends on what kind of Full Metal Jacket. Not all Full Metal Jackets are the same. If you have flat nose, that's a lot better. If it's bonded, that's a lot better. And they do make bonded flat nose Full Metal Jackets for hand loading. Spear makes them. I've actually loaded them in 45 Super. It's a great round to load it in. And then there's also the idea that a round nose starts pushing tissue out of the way as it goes through versus cutting the tissue like a flat nose. So can you do it with a round nose? Sure. There's also been issues of like 45 and 9mm cheap full metal jackets like Winchester White Box, not or copper plated full metal jackets, not penetrating because they just come apart when they hit serious bone, like elk bone or like bear bone. So no, I it would say it would depend on the full metal jacket. When I first got to Alaska before I had a channel, I had carried 245s. I had a Glock 30 and a Glock 21. That's what I had with me. I didn't have anything else for bear defense. And the Glock, I carried 200 grain. I found it on my local shelf. Spear Lawman, 200 grain, 45 auto, plus P, flat nose bonded bullets. I mean, that's what they were. They were flat nose bonded full metal jacket, 200 grain plus P. And, I was getting over 500 foot-pounds of energy from the Glock 21. And, just got to make a good shot. I mean, I didn't consider it really, could I get a lot more? Do I get a lot more energy in 10 millimeter? Yes. Is it that much better? Is what it is. So
that's one of the beauties of 10 millimeter and 40 cals. Most of them are flat nose.
Yeah, it is. I will say that the SIG bullets that are flat nose, the SIG full metal jackets that are actually loaded to 10 millimeter standards are going to get over 1,200 feet per second in a 180 grain and not under 1150 like a lot of the crap they load in 10 millimeter. The SIG ammo, it does have a pretty thin jacket. So I would not personally use it as my main magazine, but if you need to fill up a backup magazine or something like that, I mean, it'd be better than hollow points. You got any thoughts on that, Steven?
No, my headphones keep going in and out, and I have no idea what's going on because it doesn't say they're dead. And it's strange. I've never. Can you hear me?
In Chicagoland. Yeah, we can hear you just fine. Found in Chicagoland, they have a huge whitetail growing up in the backyards and State Forest Preserve land amount the burbs, so no hunting. Saw a 28-point symmetrical once.
I'd grab that legs.
I saw a 28-point symmetrical whitetail. You're talking what is that? 14 points a side? Yeah, 14 by 14. Got my 10 millimeter Ronin in my pants right now. Stop giving noobs revolvers. Yeah, that's for sure. Yep. Guy in Colorado killed a bear with 40 Smith & Wesson. Guy, I have a friend at church. I need to interview him. He killed a bear with a 40 Smith & Wesson. And it was a Glock 27 in his house. Coming down his hallway. Killed a black bear with a Glock 27.
Wow, that was weird. I think I figured out what the issue was. Sorry, guys. I think I had my phone on Bluetooth in my pocket, and I think it was somehow like crossing ways. So my headphones are just going like in, out, in, out. I don't know. I've never had that happen before. But
I don't think
that's got to be
your audio at all. I think you've. I don't think you've cut out on our end at all.
No, yeah. It's just the headphones. The microphone's separate. I think the microphone's good, but my headphones just keep going in and out, and it had to be my cell phone because I never have it on Bluetooth, and it was on Bluetooth. And then when I disconnected it from my cell phone, it disconnected it from my computer, and I don't even how did that happen? So I had to it was just, I don't know, bizarre. Normally, I don't even use these headphones, but my other ones are broken, so I'm making do with these, I guess. But they should be good now, hopefully.
Well, I'm in a work apartment on an iPhone.
less trouble that way. Simpler. Keep it simple, right?
Yeah. So, let's see. Somebody says they don't hardly see 30 super carry.
All the ammo I've bought's been online. I haven't seen any local.
Of course, I can only get it local, but I've seen a bunch local. So, yeah. What's up, Trigger Bar Philosopher? It's good to see you, brother. 32 guns. I don't do hollow points at this point. Yeah. Yep. 44 40 good for bear defense. With the right bullets, it'd be decent. Like hard cast bullets in anything will do the job if you put it in the right spot. Would it be my first choice? No. Can you find ammo for it? No. So, I'm not saying I've never seen ammo on the shelf for it. I have, but good luck.
I mean, hardcast 38 special will drive deep enough to kill a bear, but it wouldn't be my first choice.
No, I've met a guy who swear he killed a brown bear with the 38 special. It came running up to him. He was driving his ATV. It came ran up beside him and tried to maul him from his ATV. His 44 Magnum was in his pack. His 38 special was in his pocket. He just reached out like that and went boom, killed it right there, right through the ear hole, one shot. I mean, it's all about shot placement. Boom, it's like cool. And it was in an area where he could legally hunt it too while he was hunting, so he killed it with the 38 special.
I mean, it would be my first choice. Will it do it? Yeah, sure, it's capable.
Yeah. Now that being said, one of the largest ones ever killed in self-defense. The guy killed it with 20 shots of 7mm Remington Magnum. They found in the
involved there.
Yeah, I mean, but it just kept coming. It would stop and charge and stop its charge and go, and he would just put more rounds in, fire, until it left him alone. And of course, when you're firing quickly like that, and it was on the coast somewhere in a heavily wooded area, so it was really close, like that bear had ate 2 people recently. One of them, they found the 38 special, and they found all sorts of 38 special bullets in its hide.
Wow.
Yeah. So this guy killed it. I want to say it was a record. Let me see if I can find this story, because I'm gonna find the story and share it on the screen. Y'all talk among yourself.
Joe Rogan, of course, has been talking about bears a lot. It's kind of funny, but he was talking to a guy who was supposed to be an expert who didn't know what he was talking about. And he was like saying black bears kill you to eat you, and all this stuff about black bears statistically attack more people, partly because there's more in close proximity to humans. But usually fatal bear attacks are from grizzly bears, it was my understanding. But I know more people for certain get attacked by black bears, mainly just because, like we said, more humans around black bears than grizzly bears. But when a grizzly bear attacks you, I think it's generally a lot more serious, obviously.
I think black bears are more prone to come into residential areas for trash and things of that nature, too.
And I do think, I could be wrong, but I think that we have more, I almost certainly we have more fatalities like in Wyoming and Montana than Alaska. But I think a large part of that is the bears aren't habituated to being shot at. So they're basically protected. And I think that there's more human interaction from humans that are less educated or less prepared than in Alaska. So I think most people in Alaska are more prepared. They're carrying a bigger firearm.
So you got in brown bear country, bear spray or gun?
That's a tough one. I mean, I usually carry a pistol now, but I've carried both. I don't like, I tend to go gun, but I think if you're not trained a lot, then you should go bear spray, because like your fine motor skills and an extreme stress situation, I think it takes more skill to accurately hit a bear with a gun, right? Or bullet than just use bear spray. I think bear spray can be effective and a gun can be effective, but I think that if you're not trained at all with the pistol, then you should obviously use bear spray. I don't think both isn't a bad idea. Depending on where you're. And really, my biggest concern, and I think the reality is the person who initially gets attacked isn't going to probably have time to shoot. In Wyoming, most of the time, it's the buddy who saves them. Not all the time, but most of the time. Most of the time, you're going to be like ran over before you even get your pistol drawn or your rifle up.
I mean,
and it's not saying you
go experience with it, but just me being a gun guy, I can't fathom carrying a can of pepper spray for a bear over a gun. It just doesn't click in my head.
The statistics on it are that bear spray generally does work. However, it's bears have aggressive behavior that's nuisance. They want you out of their way, so they're around you, they're growling at you, they're sniffing at you, they're giving you bluff charges, and then they have aggressive behavior that's eating you, and that's when they just full on charge you. Spray tends to not work in the full on charge going to eat you scenario because they are moving so fast that they go right through any cloud of mist and run you over.
Yeah.
And
a big factor is wind. Out west, it's super windy. Like I've used bear spray on a dog that was trying to bite me, ironically, and it was a stray dog trying to bite me, and so I had bear spray and I used the bear spray because that's what I had. And the wind has a huge effect. Same when I did law enforcement, I used spray on people. And one time I sprayed a guy running at him. I was an idiot, right? Like wind and movement affect where that spray goes. And so if you don't get the bear, you're still going to be screwed. That's a huge factor to consider as well. And so, if you got a headwind, you probably shouldn't be spraying the bear spray, and you're probably not gonna be able to think through that anyway in the minute. But I think there was a guy a couple of years ago who used bear spray and it slowed it down, and then it came back. He used bear spray again, then it didn't work, and then I think he used his pistol. So I think he actually ended up using both. But
this is a big saying up here. Bear spray will just make you spicier. The other thing about bear spray is if you're camping, you can't use bear spray inside a tent. If your tent gets pounced on, you can use bear spray. You can use a gun, shoot through the tent, but you can't use bear spray inside a tent. So something to think about for sure.
Well, guys, also, it's been a pleasure, but I'm going to have to rock and roll. 4:30 comes early, guys.
Oh yeah, it's almost what? It's probably Eastern time zone. It's 11:30 already there, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm behind my bedtime, but it's been a pleasure. Thank you all for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, brother.
Have a good one.
Have a good night.
Yeah. So and that's the thing is like bear spray, you just can't use it, anytime you want to. It's very limited, and nuisance bears, it's one thing, but other bears, not so much. So.
Yeah, and I don't think you can. I mean, there are people, and maybe in certain situations, I might as well, like, say I didn't have a bear tag. If you had a rifle or maybe even a big pistol, you might be able to shoot a couple shots near it to deter it at a distance. Whereas you're not going to be able to do that with it. You're not going to be able to use bear spray as like a real, like, to get it to go away from you at a distance. It's just it's already going to be charging you. It's not like you can shoot a warning shot of bear spray at a bear.
Correct. Makes sense. I have shot a warning shot with a firearm, and that works. It worked. The warning shot just it worked. She went away. But yeah, it was definitely there's no way I could have used bear spray in that situation, Warning shot from a Glock 29 did the job. It's the only time I've had to pull my gun on a bear, to be honest with you. I've had bears close to me that had the gun up on them, but they weren't acting funny, I've had a grizzly bear across the river from me, right where we were. That was the first grizzly bear I saw, and it was a small one. But my brother had the shotgun on it, and I had the 45 I had at the time. And some guy from Wisconsin comes walking up with nothing. I'm like, "You're fishing the Russian River with nothing on you, no bear spray, no gun, nothing." It's like he goes, "There's a brown bear coming upstream." I'm like, "Cool. You decided to come stand by us?" He goes, "Yep."
I gotta ask people from Wisconsin, like, does everybody from the state of Wisconsin leave Wisconsin to hunt everywhere but their state? I'm not like saying I hate people from Wisconsin. What I'm saying is like every license plate you run into in Wyoming that's a non-resident hunter is from Wisconsin. I even met a guy that said Texas plate. You from Texas? You're not from Wisconsin. Thank God. And he laughed and he said, "Actually, I'm from Wisconsin. I just moved to Texas." And I was like, oh my gosh. Like everybody that hunts from out of state in Wyoming is from Wisconsin. I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, how is that like, how is that statistically possible? That many people from Wisconsin travel around to hunt, but I guess that they're big on hunting. Apparently, people that live there because my goodness, we got a lot of people from Wisconsin. But yeah, I thought it was funny. I watched guys from Wisconsin blow out a ton of deer this year. In the morning, they were trying to hunt deer from the top of the hill down.
Mm-hmm.
And the thermals were just going straight into the deer. And I was on the bottom just watching deer blow out left and right. And the guys just zigzagging. And it was, I mean, in theory, it could have maybe worked in my favor. It didn't, but it was almost hilarious to watch. But I don't know. I make lots of mistakes as well, but hunting.
Yeah.
But
a park ranger in Yellowstone told me to punch a black bear in the face if it messed with us. No BS. You know, I've heard of that working before. If you punch it straight in the nose, it ruins their nose. I've heard of people doing that before, and living would not be my choice. So, got over bear spraying today. Just hope you're good with your first or second shot. Yep. We have a dusting. We have a dusting of snow. There's a little bit of flurries today. That was it.
We got
it might be a foot when we get up in the morning, but
we got about 3 inches maybe the other day, and it's mostly it's pretty much melted off. And then on the mountain they got, I think, 8 to 10 inches.
Keep my Draco in my tent for just such an event. Hard to jam up an AK if you get a bear on you. There you go. What's up, Scott Leaper? How you doing, buddy? All right. 1/4 of an inch right now in Turnigan. Yeah. Seward just got snow today. Yeah.
I need to go to Seward.
98. Drink from the river we were panning in. There you go. Yeah, at this point, we've had so much rain. Man, I literally, like, the last weekend was the only sunshiny weekend the whole weekend since you left. Like, it's been raining the entire time. And we only had that because we drove above the weather up in Prudhoe Bay. So.
Yeah, it rained that whole time I was down in Alaska or whatever, and then Whittier it rained. This is raining.
Yep, you came during the rainy season, that's for sure. I mean, it rained on us the whole time we were fishing. Rain time, you know, the whole drive back. Once we hit the Brooks Range, from the Brooks Range to my house down to the Kenai Peninsula. Yeah, it was raining the whole time.
I got soaked through my rain jacket twice, and I was like, "How is this even possible?" Like, it would just hit like some little part and just slowly seep all the way, and I would be like completely soaked. When I'm like, how is that?
One thing I've found is get a good rain jacket up here and then wear a poncho over it. The worst rain I've ever been in, though, was in Juneau. Holy crap, because it's right there on the sea and there's nothing to stop the wind. And so it's windy, it's raining, it's snowing. At the same time, I was coaching a football game in Juneau, and that was the worst rain I was soaked through 8 layers of clothes with 2 water-resistant layers on top. And yeah.
Well, it just gets.
Yeah, and then we got killed like 70 to 28, so that didn't help any better. You know, we were actually moving the ball really good. We had 400 yards of offense. We just put the ball on the ground like 7 times, and we had no defense. That didn't help. So
I would rather have snow than rain. Cold rain, anyway. I'd rather have like snow than cold rain.
Agreed.
When I'm hunting by a long shot, it's easier to stay dry. And if you stay dry, you're more comfortable generally.
Absolutely.
And safer for the most part. Let's see here.
No snow. Keep it away. Yeah. Good luck. Snow in Amarillo. Oh, there you go. Never mind. It's back to rain. Nice, man. Snowing early in the morning, but then it turned to rain. So, well, it looks like I've caught up with the chat. So, anyway, guys, we're gonna get out of here. It's been an hour. Steven, tell everybody what's going on in your channel.
Oh man, I will have a bunch of hunting content coming. It's still kind of far out, but I have raw footage from deer and antelope and elk and everything,
Caribou?
and caribou. Nope. So like I got a I'm gonna try out a video editor, a guy that's actually local. And so as soon as my hunting season slows down, like the end of this month, actually probably really technically like the second week in November, it'll finally slow down. He's gonna start going through and making videos of a lot of the hunting videos. And it should, in theory, be better quality than even I can do. And then but until then, I have some long range shooting videos that are coming out. I test a bunch of guns to like 800, and I think it was actually like 810 or 820 yards, but it was on it. And I think it was on an 8-inch circular plate, which is actually way harder than it sounds for some reason. If you're in the wind and you're kind of like shooting in natural conditions. It was really windy the day that I shot, and I think it's an 8-inch circular plate at like just over 800 yards. And so it was actually pretty challenging. I noticed circular is way harder than a square too, because like you just missed on those corners so much easier. But I shot the, I think some of the videos on there are on the Havoc PH2 and a Sako S20. But anyway, I got a bunch of shooting videos coming out and some other product review videos. And then after that, it'll be a whole bunch of hunting videos throughout the winter, hopefully coming out.
Yeah. Let's see. 357 versus 44 Magnum for bear defense. If you're only going 6 rounds, go 44 mag. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I love my 357 mag. It's actually sitting right next to me, but it's not my primary bear defense gun. I'd much rather have a 44 mag than 357. If you're only going 6 rounds, why would you? You know. So, all right. Well, tomorrow's video is on the 300 Winchester Magnum. It'll be my last shooting video for a little while because, well, not my last shooting video, but it'll be my last ballistics video for a little while because I got to find a new place to go shoot. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check our MeWe page, and don't forget to check a lot of other things there. But and all of our affiliate links, the t-shirts are in the description. Go subscribe to the Gun Dungeon, who was here for a while, and for Bullets for Bucks. So anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. We'll see you at the range.
Have a good night.